Welcome to Section 2.1, Measures of Central Tendency. In this section, we'll learn how to summarize data by identifying a typical value, which is one of the first and most important steps in analyzing any dataset. A measure of central tendency is simply a number that represents the center or middle of a dataset. It tells us what is typical for our data. In biostatistics, we often summarize data such as blood pressure, hospital stay length, or blood type using these measures. They help us describe data in a simple, understandable way. There are three main measures of central tendency: the mean, which is the arithmetic average; the median, the middle value when data are ordered; and the mode, the most frequent value. Each of these has different strengths and weaknesses, and you'll want to choose the right one depending on your data. Let's start with the mean. This is probably the one you're most familiar with. It's the sum of all values divided by the number of values. The mean is useful because it takes every value into account. But it's also sensitive to outliers. A single very large or very small value can distort the mean. If your data are symmetric and free of extreme outliers, the mean is a great choice. Here's an example using the number of cigarettes smoked per day. Most of the values are small, but there's one person who smokes 40 cigarettes a day. That single outlier pulls the mean upward, giving us a misleading impression of the typical smoker. This is why it's so important to check for outliers before relying on the mean. Now let's look at the median. The median is the middle value when the data are ordered. It is much less sensitive to outliers than the mean. If your data are skewed, meaning they have a long tail or contain extreme values, the median is often a better choice to represent the center. Returning to our cigarette example, when we calculate the median, that extreme value of 40 doesn't affect it at all. The median here better reflects what is typical for most of the sample. In health data, where skewed distributions are common, median is often the preferred measure. The mode is the value that occurs most frequently in your data. It's particularly useful for categorical data, for example, the most common blood type in a population. Unlike mean or median, the mode can be used for nominal data. Just be aware that datasets can have no mode or more than one mode. Here's a quick summary. Use the mean for symmetric, numeric data without outliers. Use the median for skewed data, ordinal data, or data with outliers. Use the mode for categorical data or when you want to identify the most frequent value. You can calculate all these measures easily with software. In Excel, use equals average, equals median, and equals mode.sngl. In R, use mean, median, and table to find the mode. We'll practice using these tools this week so you can get comfortable with them. To wrap up, there's no single best measure of central tendency. The right one depends on your data and your goals. Before choosing a summary statistic, always check your data distribution first. Sometimes what looks like a small difference can greatly affect your results. In our next section, we'll learn about measures of variability, which tell us how spread out our data are. See you there.